welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Arena. I'm a real estate agent in Oregon, and on my channel we talk all things real estate. I give you guys market updates as well as tips to help you find your next home. So if you're interested in that type of content, make sure to subscribe and join me weekly for new videos. So in this week's video, I'm going to be talking about how to buy a house.
Buy your mama a house. Buy your whole family houses.
I'm going to give you guys all of the details. I'm going to go step by step so that you guys know exactly what to expect when you go to purchase a home. Now, before we get started with all the steps, I really do want to emphasize that you should not jump into a home purchase before you are ready. There's nothing wrong with renting or living with your parents before you feel ready and like you have a good financial cushion in order to move out and start to have your own mortgage payment, because that is a very big responsibility. You really have to consider the fact that you are not just paying your monthly mortgage. There are a lot of other costs associated with owning a home. I feel like I've said that exact sentence in a bunch of my other videos, but I really want to drive this point home. Besides your monthly mortgage payment, you're paying for utilities, property taxes, potentially HOA dues if you live in a condo or a townhome. There are a whole lot of different things that you are paying for. Also, maintenance of the home. If something goes wrong, there is no landlord to come fix it. You are in charge. You have to take care of everything. So it's really smart to make sure that you are financially comfortable, that you have a steady income, and that you feel that you are fully prepared before you jump into a home purchase. I also really want to stress that there is no specific age by which you need to have purchased a home. Everybody is on their own timeline. Just because your friends are purchasing homes, people that are around the same age as you, doesn't mean you should ever feel pressure to make that decision for yourself. It needs to be right for you, for your life, for your lifestyle, whatever that looks like, for your job, for your finances. There are so many different factors that go into it. So don't just buy a home because you are experiencing FOMO. You think that you need to buy one because all your friends are buying one. Of course, this seems like very obvious advice, but I really wanted to mention it because I feel like a lot of people, especially right now, are experiencing this fear of missing out, and I just want you to really make the decision that is best for you, not based on what other people are doing around you.
Do you, boo-boo? Do you, boo-boo?
Alright, so if you've thought about all of those things that I just mentioned and you feel like you are wanting to purchase a home, the next step is really sitting down and figuring out, am I truly prepared for this? Determining whether or not you're ready to become a homeowner depends on a lot of different things, but really the main things that you have to keep in mind is, do I have a stable income? Do I have as little debt as possible? And do I have a good credit score? Now, as far as a stable income goes, that can mean different things for different people. If you're working a W-2 9-to-5 job, that's pretty simple because you are typically getting paid bi-weekly. So if you feel like you have that steady income, you're in a job that you feel comfortable in, that you plan on staying in for some time, then perhaps that would be your definition of a steady income. If you have an entrepreneurial role, or you're an independent contractor and you have money coming in bursts and not necessarily on a bi-weekly set schedule, then you really need to make sure that you have enough saved up to really get through that home purchase, get through all of those costs, just in case you don't end up getting paid within that time frame. As far as debt goes, you really want to make sure that you have as little debt as possible. That doesn't mean you have to wait to purchase a home until you've paid off all of your student loan debt, for example. But you really have to make sure, again, that you're in a comfortable position to where the income that you have coming in is surpassing the amount of debt that you have, that you're comfortably paying that down, and that you can take on a monthly mortgage payment and not be super stressed out by it. And of course, with your credit score, I've talked all about credit in a previous video. I will link it up top so that you guys can check that out. It just talks about how to build and maintain credit and really make sure that your credit is in excellent shape before you purchase a home. But really, I think that you can certainly start looking for a house if your credit score is 600 or above. But for me, I would even recommend having your credit score 700 or above, because at that point you can really take advantage of fantastic mortgage rates. Essentially, it's going to be cheaper for you to borrow the bank's money than if you had a lower credit score, because, and I've said this again, when a bank looks at your credit score and it's lower than what they would like it to be, they are considering you a more risky buyer. They are potentially thinking maybe you haven't been on time with paying off your debts in the past, and so that's why your credit score is lower. So the higher your credit score is, the more the bank looks at you as a very trustworthy and independent and just you always are on time with your payments type of person. So it's really best to have your credit score as high as possible before you start to look at purchasing a home. Some other helpful tools to help you figure out if you are ready to purchase a home is home affordability calculators online. If you literally just type in home affordability calculator into Google, they will give you a whole bunch of different ones. I know Zillow has one, and they basically will take into account your income, any debts that you have, all these different factors, and tell you what type of house, the price of a home that you could potentially afford. Another really helpful tool is the 28%/36% rule. So essentially what that says is that you shouldn't be spending more than 28% of your monthly income on home-related costs, and you shouldn't be spending more than 36% of your income on all of your debts, all of your obligations, and your payments put together. So this is just another quick and easy tool that you can use to determine if you are ready to purchase a home. Again, you really don't want to be house poor. You don't want to be barely affording your home. You should be able to pay your monthly mortgage and other related costs and still have money left over for savings and other miscellaneous things that you need to pay for. After you've analyzed your finances and determined that you're ready to purchase a home, the second step would be to get pre-approved. Now, getting pre-approved just means heading on over to your bank, meeting with a loan officer, and having them analyze all of your financial information, all of your documents, and then after they've done all of that analysis, they will give you a letter that says Arena can afford a home for, let's say, $300,000. This pre-approval process can easily be done from home. You can just call up your bank, get a loan officer on the phone, and have them send you an email that will take you to a portal that will have you upload all of your documents, so things like your W-2, your bank statement, your retirement funds. They will have everything listed out for you so that you know exactly what you need to upload. And after that, they will analyze all of those documents and determine how much of a home they think you can afford. Now, a pre-approval letter does not necessarily mean that you are guaranteed to get a loan for that amount of money. This is just a quick preliminary process that they go through to determine how much of a home you could potentially afford. It's a very quick process. Sellers, especially in this market, are really only going to take your offer seriously if you have that pre-approval letter attached to your offer. This really shows them that you have done your homework, that you have already met with a loan officer, that a loan officer has already reviewed all of your financial information, and they've determined that you have the funds available to purchase their home. So this is sort of just proof telling them that, okay, I actually do have these funds that I'm offering to pay you for your house. A pre-approval letter is only good for between 30 and 90 days. It really depends on your bank, so make sure that you confirm that with them. Now, really quickly, I want to mention loan types, down payment, and closing costs, because these are all very important factors of your loan to purchase a home. With the loan types, there are different ones that you can use to finance your purchase. So the most popular one is a conventional loan. You can put anywhere between 5 and 20% down. If you put anything less than 20%, you will be paying a private mortgage insurance monthly. So this is just an extra fee that you pay if you put anything less than 20% down. Conventional loans do tend to have more strict guidelines to actually qualify for that loan. You typically have to have a really great credit score and really solid income, low debt. Conventional loans are really popular in this market because they tell sellers that you are a serious qualified buyer. So if you can finance through a conventional loan, that would probably be the better option for this particular market. There are also FHA, VA, and USDA loans. An FHA loan is really popular for first-time home buyers, and I do really recommend that you use it, especially if you're a first-time buyer. In this market, it's a little bit harder to get your offer accepted with that FHA loan, but it's certainly not impossible. It's a wonderful option. You only have to put about 3.5% down, and they have less strict guidelines in order to qualify. You don't need to have as high of a credit score, so it definitely allows more people to get their foot in the door and purchase a home. They're not as strict as the conventional loan, so FHA loan is also a great option. With a VA and a USDA loan, you do not have to put any money down, and I talk more about both of these loan types in a video titled How to Afford a Home Even If You're Young. I go into depth on all these different loan types in that video. I'm going to link it up above so you can check that out as well. We just briefly mentioned down payments, so you can put anywhere between 0 and 20% down depending on your loan type. A down payment is just money that you're coming in with out of pocket in order to secure that loan. Now finally, a quick note on closing costs. I'm not going to go in depth on that in this video, but if you want more information on what closing costs are, what they cover, how much they typically are depending on which state you live in, I highly recommend that you check out that video. That will give you a lot more information on the topic of closing costs. All right, so now that you've gone through step 2, you've been pre-approved for a loan, you are now ready to move on to step 3, which is to connect with a realtor that you trust.
Which is obviously me.
Now, of course, you can get connected with a realtor before you get pre-approved. That is definitely an option. This is especially helpful if you don't necessarily have a particular bank or a loan officer in mind, because your realtor will be able to give you multiple recommendations for great lenders that you can go get pre-approved with. Now, as a buyer, you do not pay your realtor anything. Yes, that's right. You don't pay them a single thing unless you have some sort of different arrangement with your realtor. Traditionally, the buyer does not owe the realtor anything. Your realtor, as a buyer, gets compensated through the seller. So typically, the seller will pay something like a 6% commission fee, and that 6% gets divided up. So 3% goes to their agent, to the seller's agent, and 3% will go to your agent. So again, you're not paying them anything, so all the more reason to use a realtor when you are going through the process of purchasing a home. Now more than ever, it is so important to have representation in the form of a realtor because it is heated out there. The market is crazy, as I'm sure you know. Oftentimes you're having to write more than one offer before you actually get accepted, and a realtor provides so much value. They will negotiate on your behalf. They will call the list agent on the other side of the deal to try to figure out what's important to the sellers. What do they need to see in an offer to get that offer accepted? How many offers do they have in hand? What price are they willing to accept? Your realtor is always able to figure these things out. The fact that you're not having to pay for those services out of pocket is all the more reason to make sure you have representation. All right, we are on to our next step. I'm going to combine steps 4 and 5 because they are very interrelated, and I needed some tea for the midway portion of this video, so I recommend that you grab a drink because we are only halfway through, you guys. There is so much that goes into buying a home. So I am at the dinner table because, well, 1, I wanted to have my tea, and 2, this is the part of the home buying process that you really need to sit down with your significant other, whoever you're purchasing a home with, whether that be a spouse or a friend or a family member, whoever that is. You got to sit down at the dinner table or any table that you want to sit down at, or on your couch, wherever, and you have to set a budget. So after getting pre-approved and having a conversation with your realtor, you will probably have a really good idea of how much home you can afford. The next step is really just sitting down with either yourself or whoever you're purchasing a home with and really figuring out what is a comfortable budget for the two of you or just for yourself. I really recommend setting a strict budget. It can be a range, but make sure it's not like a huge range. Like I wouldn't recommend saying, oh, our budget is from $300,000 to $400,000. No, I really recommend setting a very tight range and really sticking to that budget. Here's the thing, right now in this market, people are getting really emotional in a lot of cases. So they know they have to do specific things in order to get their offer accepted. Maybe they're feeling pressure to offer above asking price and go beyond what their budget is allowing them to do. And you know, you might feel a little bit of excitement and you might want to celebrate after you get your offer accepted, but at the end of the day, you are stuck with that house for many years afterwards until you sell, and you have to make sure that that monthly payment is comfortable for you. You cannot just go offering, you know, any price just to get your offer accepted, because bottom line is you are going to have to live in that home. You are going to have to make those monthly mortgage payments. You have to make sure that it is in a comfortable range for you. So for example, I would recommend potentially setting a budget that again has a tight range. So you could say between $390,000 to $425,000, something very specific. And you need to, again, make sure that you're staying within that budget. You're not getting too emotional. You're not getting too freaked out by the market conditions. You are cool, calm, and collected. You are going into these offer situations knowing that, hey, I can offer up to this amount, but I am not going beyond that no matter what. No matter how much I love the house or how amazing it is, I'm going to stay within my budget because I am thinking about the bigger picture. I am thinking about that monthly mortgage payment that I'm going to be stuck with for many years afterwards, and I'm going to be able to make a smart decision when you are in this cool, calm, and collected state and not overly emotional during the process. Now, step number 5 is sort of the other side of the coin. You want to set your budget, and then you also want to figure out your needs versus your wants in a home. So things like how many bedrooms are important to you? How many bathrooms? Do you have a square footage in mind? What features of a home are very important to you? Of course, this depends on your lifestyle, whether or not you have children or pets. You have to think about things like whether or not having a home office is important to you. So really sit down and think about the things that are important to you. Make a list. These are the things that we absolutely need to have, and these are the things are just wants. We could potentially live without them. All right, you are now ready to move on to step 6, which is to begin house hunting. In my opinion, this is the most fun part of the process, besides actually signing and getting the keys to your new home. So when you're house hunting, obviously, of course, you can do your own personal searching on websites like Zillow, Redfin, realtor.com. But of course, your realtor will also be helping you out. They will be searching on the MLS, which only realtors have access to. And the great thing about the MLS, especially right now in Oregon, there is a coming soon feature. So your realtor will be able to see new listings before they ever even go live on the market. So In that way, they are providing a lot of value to you. Your realtor will also likely have a very specific search set up that will fall in your budget and all of the features that you are looking to have for a home. For example, when I have a client, I set up a search in the MLS that will show me homes as soon as they come on the market that fit all of those different criteria that my buyers have given me. Your realtor will also be able to schedule showings for you so that you can go and see a home that you're interested in. You don't have to wait for an open house. Your realtor can schedule it with the listing agent and take you so that you can tour that home privately. If you're out of state, your realtor can still show you the home and give you a virtual tour through FaceTime or Zoom. Either way, I highly recommend that you actually see the home before you write an offer on it. All right, so now that you have pinpointed a home that you are interested in, you are ready to write an offer. In a typical market, your realtor would also do something called a comparative market analysis for you, in which they would take that home that you're interested in and compare it to other homes in the area, just to make sure that the price that they are asking for it is reasonable compared to other homes that are similar to it. But in this market, that's not really happening very much because it's very rare in this particular market to offer under asking price. But again, in a normal market, in a healthy market, that's what your realtor would do for you. Now let's go over the offer terms really quick, just so that you guys know exactly what goes into writing an offer on a home. So the first thing is names. You will want to determine how you want your names to appear on title, making sure that everything is spelled correctly. If you have a middle initial, making sure that that's in there, just making sure that your names appear the way that you want them to on the title. The next thing is the offer amount. You will of course determine how much you are wanting to offer for the home. Then of course your earnest money, which is typically 1% of the purchase price. So earnest money just acts as good faith money, just a deposit, if you will, on the home that just shows to the sellers that you are willing to fulfill the terms that are in the offer that you are writing. Next, we've got your down payment amount. Again, we talked about that before. This will depend on the loan type that you have. So if you have an FHA loan, that would be about 3.5%. If you have a conventional loan, it can be anywhere between 5 and 20%. If you have a VA or USDA loan, you would be putting zero money down. So that just depends on your loan type, which is actually our second bullet point here. You will need to make sure that the loan type is in there. Also, with closing costs, in a healthy market, buyers will often ask the seller to help them cover some of the closing costs, to either meet them halfway or in some rare cases to just cover the closing costs completely. In this market, I do not recommend asking for closing costs. It will just make your offer appear less strong to the sellers. But in a healthy market, it's totally okay to ask for closing costs. I mean, you can still do that now. I just wouldn't necessarily recommend it. And then, of course, personal property. I feel like I'm saying of course a lot, maybe. We have personal property. So different appliances that you saw that you would like to keep. Everything is negotiable. You can also ask your realtor if the sellers included in the listing certain appliances that just come with the home, come with that purchase price. But if not, you can always try to negotiate different things that you would like to keep. You will also determine whether or not you want a home warranty. It's not always necessary, but if you are by any chance skipping the inspection, which I absolutely do not recommend, but if you decide to, I know a lot of people are deciding to do that in this market, unfortunately, but you definitely should get a home warranty if you are deciding to forego that inspection, because if later on there are major repairs that need to be done, you will at least have that home warranty to help you out with those costs. You will also determine the inspection period. So the inspection period is usually anywhere between 7 to 10 days. I would recommend right now shortening the inspection period as much as possible. If you can make it 7 days, that would be best, because again, that will make your offer more strong. Then we've got your closing date. Again, we talked earlier in the video that closing will really depend on the loan that you have. If you have a conventional loan, closing will typically take about 30 days. If you have any other loan types, it will take usually 45 days. So your realtor will do the math and make sure that they are setting a closing date that applies with the loan type that you have. And finally, the offer expiration date and time. I do not recommend putting in offer expiration longer than 24 hours, because what that does is that gives the listing agent a chance to shop your offer, so they can actually use your offer to get other buyers to come up on their offer terms, their offer price. So 24 hours should be the limit. All right, now if you have been accepted, congratulations. That is so exciting. You are ready to move on to step 8. Once you've been accepted, it's not the end of the journey just yet. yet, it might be a little too early for a full-blown celebration because you still have to go through the inspection period and the appraisal process. Now, as we just discussed, an inspection period is typically between 7 to 10 days, and that is when a professional licensed inspector comes out to the home to check absolutely everything and to make sure that everything is in good shape. If there are issues or major repairs that come up during the inspection process, you can always negotiate for the seller to help you cover some of those repairs. Or if it's something that is just super major, really expensive, you didn't expect these problems to come up, and the seller doesn't really want to help you out, in that case, within that time period during that inspection period, you can still pull out of the deal. You can either ask the seller to repair whatever the issue is, or you can ask for a credit so that you can go and repair that issue later on yourself. It never hurts to have your realtor negotiate on your behalf to try and get some of those repairs taken care of. Now, the appraisal and the inspection are completely different. If you are financing your home purchase with a loan, the bank will send out a professional appraiser that will come and give you their professional opinion on how much the home is worth. They will have a report ready once they have completed their evaluation of the home. They'll send it over to your real estate agent, and if the appraisal comes in under what your offer amount was, you are potentially saving that in-between amount. So if, for example, you have offered $400,000 for a home, but it appraised for $350,000, you're potentially saving that $50,000 in between because the home didn't appraise for what you offered or for what they listed the home at. Now, I know right now a lot of people are offering to bridge that gap in order to make their offers appear stronger. So they'll say, hey, if the home doesn't appraise, I will cover that gap myself. And you can certainly do that. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but again, it really depends on your specific situation. So you need to be consulting with your realtor to determine what is best for you. So you have your inspection period and your appraisal process. You will also, during this time, have your loan underwriting process. So before you had your pre-approval where they just briefly reviewed all of your finances, but now the bank is really going to go deep into all of your financial information and determine whether or not you will actually get the loan. Almost forgot, during this time that you are going through the inspection period, the appraisal process, the loan underwriting process, your title company, or I should say the seller's title company, will actually run a title search on their home. Make sure that there are no liens on the home. So what that means is if the previous owners didn't pay property taxes and they owe something on the home, if there is no title search conducted, once you are in possession of the home, now you are the homeowner, you are responsible for those liens. So that is pretty scary. You definitely want to make sure that the title company is running that search to make sure that there are no clouds on title, that everything is clear and good to go. So now that you've gotten all of that out of the way, let's move on to the exciting step 9. All right, so congratulations, you have made it to the final step. I am back on my couch, which signifies that this whole process has officially come full circle. Your lender will send you a closing disclosure letting you know exactly what information you need to bring to the closing table. Typically, 2 forms of ID is pretty standard: driver's license and anything like your social security card, your Costco card, anything that you can use to verify your identity so that they know that it's truly you that is coming in there and signing the documents and not a fraud trying to steal your identity. In Oregon, and I believe in other states as well, they will give you a copy of all of the documents because you have a 3-day review period after signing. So after you've signed all the documents, you will have 3 days to review all of the information, all of the numbers, the documents, all of the terms, so that you can ensure that everything looks correct. So you have gone through closing, you have signed on the dotted line. Congratulations, you are officially a homeowner. It's truly a very exciting process, and after going through all that you have to go through with the pre-approval, with writing offers, with going through inspections and appraisals and all of the different steps that I outlined, getting the keys and becoming a homeowner truly is such a rewarding experience. I really wanted to make this video because I feel like when I was a first-time home buyer, I was very ill-informed. I did not feel comfortable or confident. I remember sitting down with our loan officer and I just felt like I didn't understand half of what he was saying. I was like, I know some of these words, but not enough. And I remember always feeling afraid when we would go to meet with people, and I just felt like I didn't know as much as I should. I was using the people around me as a crutch because I didn't feel comfortable enough on my own. I didn't feel like I had enough information, and I do not want anyone else to feel like that. I want you to feel comfortable and confident, and I want you to have all of the information that you need before you go through with a home purchase, especially if it's your first home purchase. If you are looking to purchase a home in the state of Oregon, I would be more than happy to represent you as an Oregon licensed real estate agent. I will make sure that you are well informed and well prepared before you jump into that process. If you would like this home buyer guide in an aesthetically pleasing PDF form, email me at arena@nexthomepdx.com and I will get that out to you as soon as you reach out to me. You guys, I had so much fun filming this video for you today. If you enjoy this type of content. If you found this video helpful, I would so appreciate it if you would subscribe and turn on the bell notifications so that you get notified every time I upload. If you would like to see more from me, definitely make sure to follow me on Instagram at ArenaD. I post a lot of behind the scenes stuff on there, a lot of things from my life as a realtor, a lot of day-to-day things. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, make sure to follow me on there. All right, you guys, thanks again for watching. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you next week with a new video. Bye.